Hey Facebook, how are you all? Hope you're doing well. And YouTube, welcome to YouTube and to Instagram and all the other platforms that this live is going to be airing very, very soon. Yay! If you catch me live, please come on and say hello. And if you're catching the replay, then hashtag truth. We are on episode 6 today of the Soul Truth Conversations show. And I'm just going to go and invite our guest in today so that she can find us. This is going to be a really juicy one today. I'm loving doing these conversations. I'm loving bringing this show together where I have really, really truthful soul truth, really get into that soul truth conversations with incredible leaders, female leaders, empowered women about all these different subjects. So first of all, if you would love to come onto the show, then let me know, jump into my messenger, into my DMs and just say, yes, Claire, I've got a great conversation. I would love to have with you the truth about X, Y, and Z. And then I'd love to have you on the show and perhaps you can be one of our next speakers or interviewees, however we want to call this. That would be incredible. So let me just breathe for a second whilst we let my guest come on and find me and find us all here. So I'm Claire Chapman and I love to empower women by reuniting them back with their truth so that they can express their authentic identity. And I do this for women who are very successful, very ambitious, but feel very unfulfilled. So if you're a woman right now who's successful, you've got the money, you've got the clients, you're running an incredible business, but just, on the internal, there's something about you where you feel that you are, unfulfilled. You're not being lit up in your business. Maybe your clients aren't lighting you up. Maybe your products are not lighting you up. Whatever it is within your business or within your life that you feel unfulfilled, then I'm your lady. So I'll give you a little bit of a background about who I am. Lizzie, if you're on here right now, please let me know. And if anybody's watching, please, come in, say hello, come and join the conversation with us. So just going back sort of nearly 9 years ago, I found myself in a position where I had everything. I had the money, I had the guy, the husband, the kids, the country cottage, the brand new BMWs on the driveway. Like I had all the external things around me, and yet I found myself feeling soulfully dead. And I described that I was in a place of depression, bipolar, divorce, and just always, trying to fill that void with sex, alcohol, partying, just never wanting to be on my own and being with, everybody else around me to try and fill that void, until it got to the stage where I was ready to quit life. And I heard this voice that said, Claire, you have to help yourself. And so then I went on this incredible journey that entailed for me losing a lot of stuff, losing the money, the cars, still kept my house, moving away from the marriage, so getting a divorce. I really had to go on this soulful journey to find out, who am I on the inside? Who is Claire? What do I love to do? And I've been on this massive journey for 8 years or so. I absolutely love it. I love who I am. I get totally filled up before I even get out of bed in the mornings. I just love everything about myself and I feel totally fulfilled without clients, without the money, without all of the stuff. And so I really know what it's like to be, I'm just going to bring my guest on. So I know what it's like to have everything and not feel fulfilled. And then I've also experienced by not having a lot and feeling totally fulfilled. And then I've been on the journey of bringing the two things together so that I can feel fulfilled without all the things, but I get to have all the things, but because they don't mean anything about me. They don't mean anything about my success. It doesn't mean anything about my worthiness. So I fulfill myself. And that's the type of client that I attract. So if you are, an ambitious, successful woman, but you've just got that disconnect, you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not feeling lit up by whatever it is you're doing, I help you bridge that gap so that you get to be all three: successful, ambitious, and fulfilled. That's my gig. So today we've got here, I brought on the beautiful, beautiful Lizzie Vince. So Everybody come in and say hello. Oh, thank you for my birthday wishes. That was from Sunday. Thank you, thank you. Lizzie, I'm so happy to have you here. Honestly, this is going to be, I feel like this is one of those like celebrity, open it all out kind of conversations where everyone's like, who is Lizzie? And
Yeah.
Lizzie's given me the invitation to really like, you know, there's no question off camera. We're just going to go for it.
Yes, exactly. Very
Oh.
exciting. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm a
Right,
celebrity.
Lizzie, you sound really quiet. Now, I'm not sure
Oh,
if that's me or if anybody's on here listening to us right now. Can you just, if you can hear Lizzie, give me a yes. I just found you very quiet.
oh, I don't know. I can hear you loud. I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, we keep going for a minute. Yeah, somebody who's watching, please let us know if you can hear Lizzie. I've never known you so quiet, Lizzie. That's probably what it is. No, I'm joking. But yeah, just let us know if you can hear Lizzie, because for my end, it is really, really quiet. Lizzie. So Lizzie is one of my clients right now, one of my one-on-one clients. And I've seen Lizzie go through this journey. But Lizzie, perhaps you can take us back to a time. We're getting really soulfully, you know, truthful here right now. Yes. Oh, thank you, Janine. Thank you for saying yes. You can hear Lizzie. Take us back to, we almost don't need to go too far back with your story, but you can hear her fine. Amazing. Go back to, you know, when we sort of found each other. Lizzie was my client. Lizzie was my coach last year, and then we ended up flipping it. And Lizzie's been my client from last year and into this year. Could you tell us, because I want to talk about success, I want to talk about achievements and results and money, but then also this disconnect of fulfillment at the same time. Could you let the listeners know who are here listening now and on replay, what does that look like? Because when we show up in a space, we feel like we're showing up authentically, but there is this disconnect. And please share with us your huge success, because you have had incredible success. But can you explain what that success felt like, how it left you, and maybe some of your repeated patterns that start to come through? Because I'm sure there's other women who are successful, who are watching this, who don't want to be as open, do not want to share, which you're going to share today. So I really feel that, you know, you're a leader in this right now to be the evidence of what can happen when we don't come from this internal, fulfilled, truthful space.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you can relate to being an overachiever, to perhaps, you know, the only love and attention you received as a child was through achievement, so through getting good grades. So you've sort of grown up attaching worthiness to external achievement, which I've since realized was and still is in some ways the case for me. So I've always been super ambitious, super driven, manifesting generator, shout out. And so like procrastination has never been an issue for me. Like, if anything, like, people are like, oh my god, like I just can't seem to get stuff done, and I'm like, I'm the opposite. Like, I can't seem to rest. So that's been a journey in itself, giving myself permission to rest and just detach my worthiness from the achievement. So I started my coaching business in March 2020, and I'd left my job. So I'd started my business from a place of scarcity, I would say, because I was just like, I've got to make this work. I don't have a job anymore. I've got to make money. So from the start, it was go, 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 go. And then I lost everything in my business twice because I just burnt myself out to the max, and that was like a recurring pattern. And then rest, and then hustle, and then rest, and then hustle, and then rest, and hustle, and so on. And then I would say, well, it was the summer of last year of 2021. Like, in 3 months, I made like $500,000 in sales. And looking back at that time, it was just a whirlwind. It's like I sort of understand when I'm talking about celebrities, when like actors are like, you know, talk about a really busy time in their life where they were making incredible movies, and they're like, I can't really remember it because it was so surreal, and it was so much for blur, and I wasn't really, obviously that comes from not really being present and in the moment. So I made all this money and I signed all these clients and had everything that, you know, people wish for, and the things that I'd dreamt of, frankly. And I was sat there and I felt nothing. Like, I felt empty, I felt disconnected, I felt, and it was, again, tying it back to celebrities, it was then that I understood, like, now I understand why celebrities, you know, I mean, I wasn't suicidal, but now I understand why celebrities, you know, do end their own lives. Now I understand why they, you know, why people, not even just celebrities, but people who are really successful, maybe bankers, like quit their job and go off and live in the mountains or whatever. I was like, now I get it. And I believe, in hindsight, looking back, I was meant to make that much money so that I could, in such a short amount of time, to then realize money doesn't fulfill me. I'm burnt out. I'm working all the time. Hustle, go, all the doing. And that actually, you know, I was attaching so much to money, and actually I ended up resenting money, because it was like, money is, and I know you've spoken about this, Claire, like, money is draining, clients are draining, my business is draining. So yeah, then I took like a step back from my business. I can't really remember when. I lose track of time. But yeah, it's obviously been like, what, 6 months since then. And then my stepdad got really sick, and then my stepdad passed away in January. And then I feel like him passing away, I'm gonna get upset. I feel like him passing away has I feel like it's given me a lot of clarity. It's given me a lot more meaning and purpose. It's giving me a new lease of life. And as much as grief is extremely painful and draining, it's also a beautiful thing as well. And people that experience loss early on in their life, you know, I'm 26 years old, he was 58, very young age to go. I believe that those are the people that, you know, have the most like purpose and fulfillment, and, you know, make the most change in their life and have the most growth. You know, people that experience any form of adversity, whether it be grief or discrimination or whatever it be. So yeah, I feel like manifesting generator style, I'm like a different person each week. So I'm evolving at such a fast rate. So like, you know, I don't know where I'm going to be next week, next month, let alone next year, or in the next, you know, like I could never do a 5-year, 10-year plan. I mean, I'd have no idea where I'm going to be. But I've kind of learned to accept that about myself, and that, you know, to be in the moment and go with the flow and go wherever my energy takes me. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I'm in a bit of a not like a limbo phase, but just in like a
pivotal point.
Yeah. And in
so
like
Lizzie, going back through like when you had all the success and things like that, was there any sort of moment that really stood out for you where you just went, do you know what, this is not about the money, this is not about the clients, this is not about the results? What made you kind of have this wake up call that says that there's still got to be something out, I'm still missing something, I have everything yet I'm still missing something? Where did that, what set those alarm bells off for you? Was it somebody that you saw? Was it an event that you went through? What really gave you that, do you know what, this is what I want now, and I want to bring in and find that inner fulfillment, what was there a point where you just, okay, things need to shift and change now? You learned it wasn't about the money, it wasn't about the business, it wasn't about the results and the clients.
Well, I think and this is like pretty like deep and philosophical, but like people, I feel very privileged to have been through what I've been through and to have it all and it not feel enough, because there are people in this world, majority of people go through life chasing after something and they never actually get it, but they think that thing's going to give them the fulfillment, when actually they'd be a lot happier if they found the fulfillment from within. So I'm so grateful that I was able to, you know, if I literally would have written down, I'm not really like into vision boards or anything like that, because I just see what's in my mind, but like if I was to do a vision board, like I had everything that was on my vision board. Like I could have bought my dream car, I had an amazing relationship, like I had everything. And then it's at that point and you're still not happy that you take a step back and you're like, okay, what's going on here? It was initially, it was confusion, which led to frustration, because it was like, and also like shame, like I should be happy, I have everything that I could ever wish for, why am I not happy? This is so bloody frustrating. Like this is literally on my, what's on my list, what's on my vision board, I have everything and I'm still not happy. Like I mean, like I said, I wasn't suicidal, but it could make people that way, because it's like, what's the fucking point if you have everything and it still doesn't feel enough? And then obviously that led to me realizing that everything was external and I was completely disconnected to myself. And then obviously that's the work that I'm doing with you. It's like bringing me back to who I am. And like 2 weeks ago on our call, like I drew a diagram that was like 2 circles, and it was like the circle on the outside was like my business, and then the circle inside was me. And there was I just felt a complete disconnect between the two. And so, yeah, I think that's the main, that was the main, what do you call it? Like moment, epiphany moment. Like I have everything and I'm still not happy. Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Exactly. And this was exactly like my story, you know, 9-10 years ago. And there is this shame, but then there's the shame that you have everything yet you're still not happy. It's like the you feel guilty that you have all this and you're still not enough, and you make it mean something bad about yourself. And then like I went through the journey where I lost nearly everything and I was suicidal. I did want to quit this life, because it just becomes so unbearable. The pain of feeling unfulfilled, unsatisfied, even when you have everything around you, is painful. It does feel, it does knock you at all these different levels. And I remember, Lizzie, there was a moment where I'd had a vision of, I saw this car badge and I wasn't sure what it was, and I had to look it up, and it turned out to be a Porsche badge. And I remember then having this vision of this white Porsche, this like SUV type Porsche. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? I need to go and, you know, see what this is. And unknown to me, Lizzie is at the same time in the Range Rover garage, like in the Land Rover garage, which was always my dream car. It's been my dream car, a black Range Rover Sport. Well, it's Sport. It was originally a Vogue because the Sport didn't even exist. So my dream for that Range Rover car was like years deep. And you're in Land Rover and I'm over here looking at the Porsche garage. And there was a real difference in Lizzie and I were both in these garages without knowing. We were both sitting in our dream cars, but this was the difference that happened and that we experienced. So I'd have this vision and I could lay in bed and just see it, and my whole body like felt amazing, because I felt amazing already. So then to
Mm.
have the Porsche on the back end, or the vision of the Porsche, just made the amplification like that much greater of where I was at. And I didn't know what the car was. So I had to go to the Porsche garage, and I'm looking around through all the new cars going, no, 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 no. And I walked out to the used section just at the back there, and these two glass doors opened, and da-da, there was this white Porsche that I now know as the Cayenne Coupe. It had everything on it. I said to the guys, can I have the keys, please? Open up the door. I sat in that car, and it just oozed and amplified like, oh, it was amazing. I was like, this is the frigging car. And had a conversation with the guy, and he was like, are you going to be paying, you know, do you want finance on this? I'm like, no, I'm paying it outright. And I was in the acting as if, because I
Yeah.
didn't physically need it, because I already had those feelings within myself that it was like, I've got the car, whether I physically got the car or not, I have the car because I have those feelings. And I just played the game and had fun, came back, was talking with Lizzie, and Lizzie said, before, you know, I sat in the Range Rover, and Claire, I felt nothing. I could go and buy this car effortlessly. Like, I've got the money wasn't the issue. And Lizzie was sat in the car and just said, but I just felt nothing, because the external, the cars, the clients, the money, the relationships, the businesses, whatever it is outside yourself, will only ever reflect back to you whatever it is on the inside. Lizzie was unfulfilled. So even sitting in the dream car, the car that she could just go and sign up for effortlessly, amplified that unfulfillment. And so the same acts, we both went to the same garage, we both sat in our dream cars, and yet the emotions attached to it were both completely different. And this is where a lot of my clients get to. And it's about the car and not about the car. It's about the clients and not about the clients. It's about the money and not about the money. It always is about it and not about it. And so you had this awakening, you knew there was something missing within you, and you got truthful for that. You had to own up to that. You had to stand up to that and take radical responsibility. How did that feel for you, and how did you move through that bit of honesty, truthfulness, radical responsibility? Like, because that takes effort in itself. That takes guts to go, do you know what? I have all this and I don't feel like I want to feel still. How was that for you?
I'm just trying to remember at the time, because now looking back, I'm like, I'm so glad it happened. But I mean, I guess I've always been like a very aware person, so I've never like had to sort of try to be aware. It just comes naturally. So I think like I I just know. And it was like with the Range Rover, you know, even now, like I went to look at what's interesting, like last time I looked at an Evoque, and then this time I looked at a Sport, and like I felt like the Sport was like way more like, this is my car, felt way better in it, but I still didn't feel 100% how I want to feel when I buy it. And so it's just having that awareness of like, I know that day will come, and it might be a different car, might be a different color, who knows, if we just take the car example. But I'm not going to buy that car just for that. And I think this is like, you know, the consumer culture, like I'm not going to buy that car just to have the car. Like I'm going to buy it when I like, it feels like the right moment and the right time. Because I did that with like my Balenciaga bag and my Balenciaga trainers, and like I bloody love it when I wear them. Like I feel like amazing, and like I love using the bag, I love wearing the trainers. So but then I don't feel like that about any other kind of material item. I don't feel like I need or want for anything else material at the moment. That could
And
change.
this is really important, because this is like where I take women into their authentic identity. And your authentic identity is that right now. Like, you're not worried about the cars right now. You're not worried about those things. But the handbag and those trainers, like, just, I'm gonna friggin' own that. Like, that's who you are. Like, you love your fashion, you love your clothes, you love your fashion. That is like your authentic identity. That is part of you in yourselves. Like, and owning that that's enough, that you don't need the big flashy car, you don't need the big flashy house, but yet you love your trainers and your handbag. And that's what it took for me to get hold of my authentic identity, discover exactly what I am at my core, in my soul. What do I love? And owning the effort of that. Now, Lizzie and I are very similar. We love our Netflix binging. We love being with family on the sofa, like sharing the chocolates and just being in that like low-key fun family. Pardon?
Wholesomeness.
Wholesomeness.
Wholesome.
And yet, you know, it's like, well, I can't take photos of this, I can't talk about this because it's not flashy enough, it's not what my clients need, blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, own that, owning those parts of yourself. And just going, you know, it's like, for me, houses are my thing, my car is my thing, travel and getting Airbnbs is my thing. Clothes, no, I'll just put on whatever I want to put on. Like right now, joggers, jumper, like I live like this. And then there's days where I want to dress up. So fashion to me is not, you know, I'm not saying I never won't be in designer clothes, or, you know, because like you say, we're forever evolving, but right now that's not who I am. So don't own that. Do you know what I mean? So owning. And I think the difference is like, when you sit it, when you feel good in yourself, when you feel fulfilled, and then you go and sit in the car and it just feels like, oh, like, do I need this now? No. Do I want it? Yeah. Go. And that's then where you get that growth. And it's when the car doesn't mean anything. Like previously, and I don't know if you've experienced this, Lizzie, was the money meant something, the car meant something, there was an ego behind it, or wounding that was behind some of these materialistic things. So when we take that meaning away from it now, no, it's just the car because you want the Range Rover, and now you want the Sport just because. With no attachment.
And I said this to you, I think last week. I was like, I'm really scared because I don't feel like I want or need anything. And I've never felt this way before. And now I'm like, so what about when you do buy stuff? If like what happens now when you don't want or need anything? Like what happens next? Like,
what's the point?
Yeah.
And this is all part of the process. Now, I know we spoke about this, so we'll share this with the viewers right now. This is part of the process. When we add meaning, ego, or wounding to something, then we make that mean something. The process of how we rewire the mind, how we reprogram thoughts, beliefs, actions, like we're recreating your personality. You have to take away and detach any meaning to something. And then that's where you're left in this place that Lizzie was at recently. And I hit it with money. You detach all meaning from it and you remove all the beliefs around what you're making it mean. You're almost sat in this like nothingness. Like you are literally like, well, I don't even need money now. I don't even need the car now. What is the point? That's where we absolutely get into a state of detachment. And Liz is going, well, what's the point in me having a business? Why do I even need my clients now? Like we get really scared now because we haven't attached anything. But then the beauty is when we've split everything out and detached from everything, we get to then add meaning, any meaning we want to anything. That then we start to rebuild the beliefs around money. Then we can start add meaning to the car. I want the car just because, like, it doesn't mean anything now. We get it because I love it. I get it because I want it. Full stop, period. Just because. And that's it. Just because. I want the money just because. I want the clients just because. And we get to add that meaning to it. And so, yeah, the work that I do and the process that we've done with you, you hit this like everything means something, and then like Lizzie hit the, well, now I don't feel nothing, and it's like, but now we start to rebuild the meaning that comes into that.
Yeah, you gotta strip it all back, like the way one of my clients describes it with her clients is like peeling off sticky notes, like peeling off the labels, and then you're just left with like a blank canvas to decide what you want to add. And that's kind of how I see it. And on it, like, I don't know if this has just come through me right now, but it's obviously something important to share. As a whole, like as a society as a whole, the world as a whole, and like even in the coaching industry, and this is like no judgment of the coaching industry, but you know, we are meant to be like the awakened people and stuff like that. But now, not from like a superior way, but because of where I am now, having made all this money and not feel fulfilled with it, now I'm sort of able to zoom out of the coaching industry as a whole. And what I now can see is just so many women running on autopilot, just chasing after the next money milestone, the next money milestone. And it's like, why do you even want that money? And there's a lot of sort of like keeping up with the Joneses of like, oh, I haven't posted in that group that I've made 400k this month, so I best like hustle to make that 400k, and so that I can then post. And it's like, but why do you even want that 400k? And like I said, I'm so grateful that I've had the shocks to my system like I have, you know, having it all and feeling nothing, my stepdad passing away, can't really think of any other examples, but of course there have been some. So grateful to have those like take a step back moments, because now I'm able to choose differently and to approach things differently. And I just like, this is now what I believe is part of my mission, is to help women to like just take a step back and think, why are you even doing this? Like, and it's become the rat race of who's making more money, who's signed more, you know, who's signed more clients. And it's like, why do you even want that much money? And then, are you even doing the thing that you want to be doing, or are you just doing it for the money? And it's just, I mean, I just see, I feel like I'm like awakened to it now. I just see it everywhere. It's like you are see yellow, see them everywhere.
Yeah, and you see the ego, you see the wounding, and you see the unworthiness. And those are the three things that come through the you know, in the industry, the women who are seeking for the money, you know, will do all the things, want the next strategy, because they're trying to get that outside result, because the clients will mean they're successful. Clients and the money will mean that they are worthy, they're deserving of. And this is where the things all get entangled. And actually, if they stopped looking at the money and the clients for their worthiness and their fulfillment and found that from within, they realize then that they naturally attract their ideal clients. When they, like your business, we've had this conversation, like Lizzie was saying on one of our calls, there was a circle of Lizzie in the middle, and on the outside was her business, but there was this big disconnect, this big gap, because Lizzie's business was not coming through her. It was something that she was going out and doing in order to get the money, get the clients, have the success, because her initial wounding was based on results driven. She used to get attention as a child for doing well, being amazing, so she'd learned that pattern. And when you're going outside of yourself, that's when it's not effortless. That's when you need to work hard. That's when you need to control it. That's when you need to be creating everything yourself. That's when you don't allow yourself for you know, receiving and allowing and connecting to yourself, that you get the burnout, the unfulfillment, the disconnection from self, the disconnect from your clients, resentment for your clients, resentment for your work. You don't get out of bed, the energy is not there because it's draining, and it's soul destroying, it's energy sucking in all of those ways. So what we did with Lizzie on our calls was, I knew Lizzie because we'd been in Voxer. I knew Lizzie because we had these very open and personal conversations. So to see some of your posts, Lizzie, sat in the car, I can't wait to buy this car, and then in the Voxer was like, I felt nothing. We could see the disconnect. And we were looking at what Lizzie was doing and what Lizzie's amazing at, she's teaching and she's helping her clients with. But who Lizzie is well into her fashion. She loves her 60s fashion. And I was like, apart from seeing you in one or two outfits when you were on holiday recently, I didn't see any of that. I'm like, Lizzie, where's this big fashion? And she's like, Claire, I love watching the celebrity like reality TV. And I'm like, where is that in your business? Where are you owning that part of your identity? And so what we're doing with Lizzie is really going, do you know what? That is your authentic identity. You love fashion, you love the 60s, you love celebs, you love talking, you love in person, like you love sitting on the sofa, you love laughing with your family, you love eating the chocolate, you love being with your partner. Like, let's bring all that through into your business, so your business then becomes an extension of that. And when we started to do that, like, you can explain, like, how did you feel, probably like even in the last 2 weeks or so, how have you felt like moving into your business becoming more of an extension of who you are? Just tell the viewers right now, like, what's the journey on these last 2 weeks of you, your business coming through you rather than outside of you? What's that done for you?
Yeah, well, I definitely realized that I was almost living like a double life. A bit like I imagine most people, especially in the corporate world, but we carry that through to our business. We notice it less because it's our business, but you know, you might be very different with your colleagues to how you are with your partner, for instance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I realized that, you know, for instance, like with my boyfriend, we're really like childlike and weird and silly and playful, and I wasn't bringing that playful side of me, like you said, the fashion, the like obsession with celebrities, like, so I was, and I sort of see this with in particular the like spirituality is like I was trying to fit myself into this like spirituality box when actually I'm not an outwardly spiritual person. It's just sort of like the way that I am naturally. So I was like trying to put out this overly spiritual person, but I was just like, that's not me, and that's not me rejecting spirituality. That's just that I don't need to like put it on or show it off. It's just who I am. So then I stopped doing that. And then yeah, I just even you know, going to Dubai recently, like I bought quite a few new clothes because I realized I was just wearing like a lot of neutral colors, and I realized like I love color, I love like fancy nails, like I love anything vibrant, playful, it just, yeah. And like I was probably suppressing my inner child, to be honest, when I really think about it. And like I was doing things like I was going horse riding and stuff, but I wasn't like I wasn't wearing the clothes that felt authentic. Like my nails weren't painted in a color that felt, it could be like really tiny things. It can be down to what you're eating. Like I became sober recently because I realized drinking alcohol is not, I'm not into it. Like I feel like I sort of did it because it's like, oh, it's kind of like what you do, but I realized like don't enjoy it and I don't really want to do it. So like I've stopped that. I love chocolate, as you said, so I'm still eating chocolate, trying to cut down on sugar. But yeah, like the fashion, obviously then I had this idea with the podcast, which initially I called Celebs Unfiltered, and then I changed the name to Success Unfiltered, but I've still managed to get a couple of like celebs on there, which is like amazing, or at least lined up. Yeah, I was just like rejecting so much of myself to honest, I wish for every single person overall, but especially in the coaching industry, to experience the like authenticity awakenings that I have, because you will like I said, I can see it in people now. I'm like, not in a judgmental way, but I can just tell like you're not like those clothes aren't you, or like, you know, the just I mean, yeah, I won't go into it, but
you see right
yeah,
through it, don't you? It's like, you know, some
yeah,
of your posts and stuff that you were putting out, you know, I'll be open and honest and blunt, I do speak my truth, is you can see right through it. They hold an energy. They
mm,
hold an energy when people are not authentic,
mm,
their true authenticity. And a lot of people, there's a misconcept with this,
yeah,
because I've been authentic throughout my whole entrepreneurship over the last 4 or 5 years. I've been authentic. I've shown up as myself. But what we
mm,
don't realize is the unconditioned, the sub, you know, subconscious. We show up from that place. So we are being ourselves. Like, we're not lying. We're being really truthful. We're showing up exactly like who we are, but we're showing up through ego or wounding. And there is a difference, and that's why
yeah,
this
it's
show is called The Soul Truth. It's difference
mm,
between being true and truth. Like, the truth comes through. So, you know, helping you out with your soul truthful, authentic identity. It's not that you didn't show up authentic before. You were showing up authentic, but it was showing up with wounding. It was showing up through ego. It was showing up through fear, that then
mm,
didn't make it truthful authenticity. And I was exactly the same. I showed up with everything, my heart on my sleeve. I was so open. If I was crying, I would share it. If I was celebrating, I would share. I was authentic, but I was authentic with the wounding. I was
mm,
authentic with the ego. I must
yeah,
celebrate my monetary success. I must show up and write this great content. I must have the professional photos. And it's like, but there is nothing really that professional about me. I'm very grounded and very truthful. So I had to show up in my business in that way.
mm,
So, like you say, once you have your eyes open to it and you can experience that for yourself, you see it in so many other places. And yet, if you know, spoke to that person and just, you know, we wouldn't, but if you did and you just go, look, you're not authentic, I can feel this energy coming through, blah blah blah, they would go, I'm being completely authentic, like I'm telling the truth and things like that. So there's a real difference between showing up
mm,
authentic and showing up from this truth, what's in you, your true self, not your not self, your true self. Like, that's why I use human design, that's why I use astrology, so we can work
mm,
out who are you, what is your truth in that. So when
yeah,
you started to bring through and started to wear the clothes and have your nails in the bright colors and started to accept, because ownership is a massive part of this, ownership of who you are. When you started to own that you love celebrities, you love reality TV shows, you love chocolate, you love the money, you love this stuff, how did that help you feel in life and in your business? What has that done for you? And I know we've only been a few weeks, but
yeah,
what's it done so
yeah.
far?
Well, like typical manifesting generator style, um, like when because for so long I'd been like, felt like desperately seeking after what, like who I was and what lit me up and what I was passionate about. And then it's like the second I found it, I mean, within like a couple of days, I'd, you know, booked in guests for my podcast. I booked a photo shoot, um, did the photo shoot yesterday, interviewed a couple of guests the day before, stayed overnight somewhere because it was like up in Manchester for anyone that's in the UK. In hindsight, I again, in manifesting generator style, wounded manifesting generator style, I did probably too much. But like I had so much drive and passion to do it that I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to do it, and I want to do it now because like this is like so fun. And it feels like, for anyone watching, it feels like, you know, think about when you do something that you get lost in. So like you read an amazing book, or you watch an amazing TV show, or you're out in nature, you know, maybe you ride horses, or you're walking your dogs, or whatever it is, or you're playing on the trampoline with your kids, or you're playing in the garden, whatever, you're just playing with your kids, and you lose yourself in the moment. like that's how your business should feel. You should and your life, well, both of them, both. I don't like to say business or life, let's face it, it's all the same thing.
It's you.
It's all part of one big bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
Intertwined bubble. But like that's how you should feel overall, on the whole, so like, and I don't want to say in the flow because it's such a cliche, but like so in the moment, so like just absorbed and immersed and transfixed and in and immersed in what you're doing, that like you're like, oh my god, is that the time? Like I've been doing this for so long and it's felt like no time at all because I'm freaking loving it. And
yeah,
that's what, of course, life has its challenges, but that's how, you know, it should feel with your partner. That's how you should feel with your friends, with your family, with yourself, with your clients, in your business. And that's been the difference for me, is like I am like, you should, how do I, it is like an excited child, like it's like a kid on Christmas Eve, like what's gonna happen? Like honestly, you know, going to Manchester, it was like going on holiday, or like Christmas Eve, like, oh, like what's gonna happen? It's gonna be so exciting.
yeah.
Like if your business and your life isn't exciting, then you gotta, like, you get to make the changes to make it exciting. And it doesn't have to take long, it doesn't have to take much tweaking, just a few little things. But it does take, and I wrote a post about this last night, it does take scary action to do what you love, because your ego is going to be like, but shouldn't you be doing this? But like, your podcast isn't making you money yet, but what about your clients? What about, do your clients feel abandoned because you're focusing on your podcast? But what about this? What about that? What about the
Is
other?
it enough?
Yeah.
Is it enough? Because the things that come effortless, then it's almost like, especially if you've got the hard working wound, which, God, let's be honest, probably 99% of the planet do, like you have to
Yeah.
work hard. When it comes so easy, it's almost like, well, that's not enough. A picture of you on your family, well, that's not enough. It's not professional enough. You watching Netflix and sharing that, that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not the glam, it's not the big icing on the cake. And it's like, I did a infographic that's coming out, keep an eye on that soon, all about the cake and the icing, and putting that against life. But you can see now, when people are actually lit up in their life, their business is lit up, their relationship is lit up. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've asked you, I've asked some of my other clients, is like, what is it, why were you attracted to me? And I think it was because I was effortlessly lit up. I was effortlessly loving life, no matter what was going on around me. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's for me, it's the lack of conditionality. It's when you said, if Simon were to go, if my kids were to go, if my house were to go, if I was to have zero in the bank, I would still feel fulfilled, because I'm so connected to myself and I know that everything would be okay. And I was like, holy shit, I want to feel like that. Tell me how you feel like that.
Yeah.
Give me your taken.
Okay. And that takes standing in your truth. That takes owning your authentic identity. And that takes rebuilding that relationship with yourself about all of who you are. This is self-love. This is self-worthiness. This is everything about who you are. Like, human design. I know we use a lot of human design. You've been mentioning you're a manifesting generator. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I was a manifester. Oh, I wish I was a generator because I got no energy. Like, we see it as this negative thing. Like, I absolutely love every ounce of my human design. I love my astrology. I love who I am. I love the woman who was seeking for everything outside of herself. I love the fact that I used to drink, that I used to use sex, that I was bipolar. Like, I love everything about every single person, like every version of myself, from a 2-3-year-old child with a bucket on her head and not giving two hoots what anybody thought. I love all of who I am. I love my journey. I've loved the hard times, the good times, and everything in between, which brings me back to a place of absolute gratitude that at a very basic or high level or deep level, however you want to call this, I'm actually on this friggin' planet where I can get to play and just do whatever it is I want to do. You know, with I could just be on my own, and my life is like friggin' like it's a dance party. It is an absolute dance party, but that comes from ownership, like I say, knowing who you are, knowing that is enough. Hey Bria, hi, some of you that are joining in, hi Erin. That's where that comes from. So this is the work that we do. This isn't about your business, the money, the clients, any of the stuff outside. This is about who are you, and just loving on every ounce of you. When you can love the wobbles on your belly, when you can love that you are cut marrying again, when you love that, you know, you've gone through a hard journey or it's been really easy for you, when you love, you know, the hair that you've given, when you love all of this stuff, when you love, like Lizzie is a go-getter, when you love that, and when you love your 60s clothing and your fashion and the bright colors, and you acknowledge all of that and step into that, the biggest thing, I know we've been talking about the word fulfillment, but what I find is after a while, what my clients actually want is freedom. They want that sense of freedom, and they think the money will bring them freedom. When I've set this up, then I'll be free. This, then I'll be free. When I'm with the relationship, then I'll feel free. When this is, and it's all this external, you can feel so friggin' free when you own your truth, when you know who you are. That's where you get this unconditional freedom, unconditional fulfillment. Like, I'm so friggin' worthy and so deserving just because I was born. I always use this word, just because, full stop. Lizzie, you were born, so just because the fact you are born, you get to have whatever you want to have, you get to be whatever you want to be. Like, I just love all of who we are. I love all of who you are, and you're just starting to blossom. Like, I know you've made your success, I know that you've got all the money, you've got all this stuff, but what I really love, and there's a post gone out I think recently, is I don't care how much money's in your bank account, I don't care whether you're fat or thin, I don't care if you've got the relationship on your arm or not, I don't really care about any of that. What I care about is that you wake up in the morning and you just go, oh, do you know what, you're freaking amazing. I am amazing. I am. And that's what I see in you. That's what I see in my clients. I see that, oh my God, it's just like this oozing energy, this beautiful soul that's in you, that's ready to open up and step into that. And it takes frigging courage, and it does take some work, but it's the biggest reward you can ever have. And I just want to add this thing is, you don't have to lose everything to feel this way, and you don't need to have everything to feel this way. You get to just be this way.
Yeah, but you do need the drive because if you like this, I mean, I feel like in, you know, I'm gonna say it, probably will trigger a few people, but in like the wounded areas of the spiritual world, you know, it's like healing is a very surface level, ethereal, esoteric, you know, calming, peaceful thing. And it's like, healing can sometimes be fucking shit. Like, it can be so painful. Like, honestly, there's been times in the past 2 weeks where I've been like, can I just forget about all of it? Like, can I just go back to like before I knew all this stuff? Because this is freaking hard work. Like, this is like exhausting. And I had a nap even before this. I mean, I've had a busy couple of days on top of that, but like, you have to have the drive to see the other side, and the motivation to be committed to your growth and your evolution, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, it is, I said to you, I mean, I've had so many realizations, but last week of realization I had is that and I wrote a post about it actually, and it's got like 120, like short, one of those short graphic posts. It's got like 123 likes, and I'm like, oh, clearly that landed with people. But about like, you know, we suppress our quote unquote negative emotions like anger, shame, frustration, sadness, because at least for me, you know, I was the hero child. I grew up with a mother that was quite mentally ill at times, and so I felt like I had to be happy to make her happy. So I was always happy-go-lucky Lizzie, and anytime I was sad or angry or felt any kind of negative emotion, it felt like it was wrong and it wasn't me. So then I've grown up not like suppressing those emotions to the point where, like, you know, of course, when they're going to come up anyway, and when they do come up, it's like an erupting volcano. When it doesn't need to be that way, it can be a lot more like gradual and stable and consistent. But yeah, you've helped me to realize that. And just like, I remember when I wrote that post about negative emotions, it was because that morning I'd woken up and I'd felt, when was it? Maybe it was Monday. I can't remember. But I woke up, I felt really crappy in myself, and I didn't really know why, because I was like, I've got like conditions external, I've got a really good week ahead. Like, why am I feeling this way? And then I'd like, bath time is like my sacred time. So like I got in the bath and I was like, I'm not gonna, you know, watch anything or listen to anything. I'm just gonna sit with my emotions and see what comes up. And then what came up was that, you know, all of these emotions that I'd been suppressing for the very reason that I just shared. And then from that, space seems to be like the theme from our call earlier. Like, you clear space to feel, you know, to receive or to feel other emotions, or to be present, or to be more connected. Like, that space can be used for whatever you want. But I think for most people, especially people that were like myself, that chased after external things like money, success, relationships, a better body, better clothes, you know, it could be anything, better car, better house. Like, we do that to fill a void. And it's like, well, we've got that void because of all the wounding, like you said, because we're not being who we truthfully are on a soul level. And I think you can only get to who you are on a soul level. Like, there's something so important about shadow work, and like really getting in there with your shadows and facing them head on and understanding them, and to then be able to release them. But people don't do that. People are just like, oh, I'll go, you know, we do things that we think are constructive, like go for a walk or do a meditation or whatever. And it's like, there's just something that's so, the most transformational thing for me has been feeling the things that I've been avoiding feeling. And like, that is my biggest message at the moment.
And what happens is people add meaning to it. So you experienced your mom, depression, mental health, and you probably didn't feel good around that. So then any form of negative emotion, you made that mean not good. So you added this meaning to it, which then meant feel a negative emotion. I feel sadness. This is not good. We'll make it happy. Yay! And so that's why you suppressed it. But when we did the work in the Vox and we undid that and swapped the meaning of it now, what about if, you know, I think we were saying like you're an emotional authority anyway. You're meant to use your emotions as your guidance system. So you were locking down your guidance system. So you weren't living your authentic identity. You were not using your emotions to make your decisions. It was like, I have to be happy. And I've got another client exactly the same, was feeling depressed and making that all mean something negative. And therefore she was like, but I earned so much money when I was happy and I was high vibed, that she's like, I can't make money now if I feel sad. And I'm like, I make money if I feel sad, whether my partner's gone, you know, had a stroke. Like,
people say like money doesn't care. It really doesn't.
And so it's like about adding, this is about all of it. Gets to be this simple, Lizzie, is what are we adding meaning to that doesn't serve us, and then detaching that, so we get into that numbness type feel, and then we just add a new meaning to it. So what we did with you, with your negative emotions, that meant negative, it meant bad, it meant, oh, don't want to feel this. And it's like, well, let's just, you know, shift out that meaning. And we got to this numb sort of place, and that's where I go, feel it. sit in it, allow yourself for a few, I don't mean sit in it for a week and pull me and end up as the victim, but to know, and this is where you get to take, we put protection on ourselves not to feel those things, but what that also does is suppresses our happiness as well. So if we got protection on not to feel sad, angry, or whatever the negative, we'll call them negative, they're not negative, but we'll call them a negative for the human brain. When you're protecting yourself from that, you're also protecting yourself from the joy, from the expansion, from the you know, the higher levels, the love coming in, because protection is protection. It's not a filter. Protection is protection. You don't want that getting through. So you put yourself in a limited position. So what we were doing with Lizzie was going, okay, Lizzie, take the armor off for a minute. I want you to feel that, to know, even if you're sad, you're not going to die. Even if you're sad, you're not going to get eaten by a dinosaur. Even if you're sad, this isn't going to happen. Like, you get to be okay with sad. And actually, they get to be beautiful moments, because whenever we're in these types of energies, sadness, anger, frustration, they're outward emotions. So when we close them down, we've got something like, I'll do an example, it's really gross, but I'll do it anyway because we will understand it. It's like when you've got food poisoning, your body wants to reject that food and throw up. You never stop yourself from throwing up because you know that's a good thing to get it out.
Yeah.
When you have these negative emotions are outward emotions. You have to allow yourself and allow your body to get them out, which means crying, which means anger, which means frustration. Let them out by feeling them. Sadness comes out in tears. Anger can come out in, like, you know, when my kids are feeling a bit angry, I'm like, stomp it out, put your head into a pillow, scream and shout, whatever you got to do. You're not allowed to hurt anything. You're not allowed to hurt anyone. You're not allowed to hurt yourself. But get that out. Jump up and down. Do some star jumps, but go through it and allow it out. And that's what we've been doing with you, is going, do you know what? Emotions are opportunities. Emotions give you awareness. Emotions, so we just rename those things. And yet it's not easy. Like, you will, if you're doing the work with me, you will cry, you will be triggered, you will go through all of it, you will celebrate, you will be happy, you will go through all the frigging things, because at the end of the day, anybody who's going, what's my purpose, I need to find my purpose. Your purpose is to come on this earth and frigging feel and experience, because when you're not on this earth, when you're not in the human body, you're just love. So imagine a life right now where everything is just love, the whole frigging time. It's almost like when my brother went to Arizona and lived there for years, he wanted to come home and play golf in the rain because he didn't have the rain. So when we have too much of one thing, so it's like, you get to experience. That's all our purpose is, to experience all of life, all of it.
Yes.
All of it. Bruce going, yeah, I love this conversation. It's a conversation that needed to be had, especially for the people like Lizzie, who had all the results, all the success, attracting, you know, huge clients, 7-figure clients. Like, she's bloody good at what she does, but at the sacrifice of her own fulfillment and her own happiness. And so this is the work. And the way Lizzie's done it is she's got everything and felt unfulfilled. I had everything, felt unfulfilled, lost nearly all of it, felt fulfilled, and then I've come back to this balance where I get to be fulfilled and I get to have the external. Liz has done it where she's got everything, she can buy anything that she wants right now, feeling unfulfilled. So now she's going, I want this, and we get to have it all. It's this and this, not with sacrifice and not without one or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
How has your life changed in this moment? We know that you still got some stuff.
Yes.
We always have.
Yeah, never ends.
What has it been like for you to stand more in your truth and for you to own more of your authentic identity?
Oh, where to even begin? The only way you will know when you're living your authentic truth, when you, like I said, it's the symptoms of it are time doesn't exist. You're literally just like in the moment. You feel like you felt as a child. just that pure joy and excitement and passion. Of course, you're still living a human adult experience with all this wounding and this conditioning, but it's the duality and the polarity of it all. It's like, you know, one moment I can feel, and I've learned to, you know, as an emotional authority, to kind of accept this and leverage it and use it, is like one moment I can feel like on top of the world, and then the next I can feel like the world's crumbling down on me. And like you say, not making either thing mean anything, but just seeing opportunity in it all. And I think that there is just so much disconnection in the world, in the coaching industry. Like there's just so many people using money, success, clients, all the external stuff to find some desperate, I know it's like you do get sometimes feel the desperation, desperately find the meaning and the purpose, when you, and it's not like, I remember thinking that like it's like a it's like a light switch moment. It is like, oh, I'm fulfilled now, or I'm authentic now. But what I would say is, if you're going to do this work, then you've got to be prepared for, as prepared as you can be, for all of it. And you've got to be so open-minded. You've got to be so patient with yourself. Oh my God, so compassionate to yourself. Like that's number one. And just like Claire said, you know, the mount, to me earlier, the mountain with no peak. It's just never ending. It never ends. And as long as, I just think life is about, you know, if I can spend the majority of my life feeling like playful, feeling like my playful, joyful inner child, and know that, you know, when I'm feeling crap, or when, you know, bad things happen, they're an opportunity for me, and I can use them for my greater good, then that's all you need in life. Like that is literally, that's it.
That is it. That is it. It's like, because you're not gonna feel happy all the time. You're not gonna feel high as a kite all the time. You're not. And when you can be okay with that, you're gonna win. You're definitely gonna win. And the choice is, like you were talking about drive, and I think it's about choice. You can either be the victim or the opportunist. Opportunist, is that a word, or have I made that up?
Opportunist. I think it's opportunist.
Yeah. We go with that. And this is why, like, I love, like, when the wounding comes up and the shadow work, the healing work, whatever you want to call it, I'm like, woohoo, let's get going, because I know when we've healed that there's the breakthrough on the other side. But anything with a decent view takes effort, whether you're going up the stairs, whether you go up in an elevator, whether you're climbing a mountain, whatever. If you want to see the view, you've got to take the journey. And it depends what view you want. The view my women want is up there. They're ambitious, they're successful, they're living on purpose, they want more for their life, they're grateful for what they have, and they're forever wanting to expand their soulful experience on this planet. Lizzie, I love you so much. Your story is incredible, and I want to thank you for being so open and truthful, because I think you're going to really help others in the industry. If you're like Lizzie and you want to come and do the inner work now, you know, I will help you stand in your truth. I use human design, I use astrology, I'm a channel, I help you do all that reconnect. Lizzie, where can people come and find you, and how can you help people out right now?
Oh wow, yeah, I'm sort of like in an in-between phase at the moment, like I said, but you can just find me on Instagram or Facebook, just my name, Lizzie Vince. And I am sort of I had this idea to help like coaches who want to become influencers, and influencers that want to become coaches. Like I really want to, I think, you know, at least you know, you only see what you want to see, right? But at least from my perspective, I see, you know, the focus in the coaching industry moving away a little bit. You know, money's still important, money's still amazing, but moving a little bit away from money and more towards impact and legacy and having more meaning and purpose. And that's really what I want to help my clients with, is to, like, you know, I love like marketing, I love PR, like I love, you know, I want to help my clients get featured in, like, not for any external validation, but just because they genuinely want it. Like they want to be featured in a magazine, or they want to speak on a certain stage. Like, I want to help my clients to do that. So yeah, that's like I said, it's sort of unfinalized at the moment, but you know what, I'm all for energy. So if you resonate with my energy, just reach out and, like, we'll chat, because, you know, there'll be something. There are many different things that we can do together.
I love it. You're incredible.
Obviously. And if you don't want to be triggered, and, like, I mean, my clients say that, like, I trigger the hell out of them, and sometimes I wouldn't say hate's a strong word, but, you know, if you aren't ready to, like, go really freaking deep and go to, like, the dark depths of your soul that, like, that you've been avoiding, and you're not ready for Claire to challenge the heck out of you and your beliefs and your stories, and, like, then don't work with Claire. But if you're ready for all of that, then, oh my God, you got to do it. Like, it's a matter of, you have to do it.
We love it. Yeah, my clients are rock stars. They are absolute, honestly, my clients, they're all blonde at the minute. But they're all blonde, they're all beautiful, they're all doing amazing stuff, they're all successful, they're all ambitious, and we're just bringing out this last piece of the puzzle, and they're also badass powerhouses and everything in between. So I'm so blessed right now. I literally journaled out today. I'm just in awe of my clients, and you know what you're all doing is just freaking incredible. I could do this work all day long. I could be in my Voxer all day. I could talk all day. Like, yeah, because it's who I am, and it's an extension. And I think that's exactly what you were talking about earlier, is like, there is no business and work and life and separate. It just all is, and it all gets to come through in that amplification. I love it. So anybody who wants to, a coach who wants to be an influencer, a coach who wants to be seen more, you know, wants to get their word out, their message out, their service out there, Liz is your woman. She's into all the celebs, PR, like, if it's not somebody she doesn't know, she knows all these people, she knows how to market, you know, the magazines, the radio stations, the celebs, like all that stuff is Lizzie. And you're going to see her out there now with her bright colours on. She's going to have this brand that all comes through. It's beautiful. You won't miss you. You might need your sunglasses. You might.
Well,
you won't miss her.
Need them anyway. Like,
Lizzie's your woman. Lizzie, I love you so much. Thank you. Have an incredible rest of your day. I know you're going to take time out now and go and chill out. You've done so much. You're so incredible.
Busy couple of days. And you know what, like, if you're feeling the nudge to do something, like I was with my podcast, and like I was with having a photo shoot done, like, I wasn't doing it to fill a void or because it felt like the right thing to do. I knew it would excite me and I would love it. Then just stop sitting on the idea, just freaking do it.
Exactly. Jump. I've jumped out of planes, off cliffs. I jump all the freaking time, and you're right, you can't just sit back. It's about loving who you are, loving what you do, loving what you have.
Exactly. I love that. Beautiful. Yeah. Full stop.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll hear you in Voxer.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody go find Lizzie. She's going to make a star out of you. Mwah. Take care.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.